Now, we all know about the Cam Akers situation last year. There was a big fight between Cam Akers and Sean McVay, and for a time there, it seemed like there was going to be no resolution and that Cam Akers would not be playing for the rest of the season. However, as we can see here with his stats, he had a very strong end to the season. He had multiple games with 2 touchdowns against the Seahawks, as well as Denver. He had 3 touchdowns, and in his final 3 games, he had 104 yards rushing, 123 yards rushing, and 118 yards rushing. Not only that, but he was getting almost 20 carries a game in his final 3 games. Will he be doing that this year? Probably not, considering the Rams are probably going to be airing it out a bit more with Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. However, there is a lot of room for upside with Cam Akers, and that's because of what we're going to be talking about today. As we can see with this article from the ramswire.usatoday.com, we can see that Cam Akers was focused on getting his weight way up this offseason. Now, coming into the Rams, Cam Akers was seen as more of an elusive back and one that makes a cut and goes. However, as you age as a running back, you need to put on weight in order to be able to block and do other things other than just being your really good elusive self. So as we can see by this picture, Cam Akers has definitely put on a good amount of weight, so he could possibly start to help out the Rams in more ways than one and stay on the field more often. Cam Akers was listed at 217 pounds when he was drafted by the Rams 3 years ago. He's still listed as that weight on the team roster, but that adjustment might need to be made at some point, considering that he just put on a ton of pounds. One of Akers' biggest goals this offseason was to get his weight way up before camp, while also making sure that he was at the right place mentally. He didn't say how much weight he has put on, but he was intentional in adding bulk to his frame. Now, this is huge for the Rams because something that has been a big point of contention with Cam Akers is his weight and the fact that he didn't have the frame to run block against these big defenders. This is a direct quote from Cam Akers: "My weight, just making sure my weight was where it needed to be, and obviously mentally making sure I was where I needed to be. But those were 2 of the biggest things, making sure I stay on top of my weight and where I need to be mentally." So I bet that a big thing last year for Cam Akers, before he had that big spurt at the end of the year with the 100-yard games, was the fact that he was in trade talks. I believe at one point he actually requested a trade and he didn't get it. Eventually, he was able to get his mental right, and now he's getting his weight right. And when he was asked whether he was trying to get his weight up or down, just so that we are on the same page, he said up, like way up, way up, way up. He said, laughing. So the fact of the matter is, Cam Akers is taking this offseason extremely seriously. Some people could say he's just eating and saying this as a way to cope, but as a running back going into his 4th year in the NFL, he needs to be putting on this weight if he wants to be a long-term running back in the NFL, because long-term running backs run block as well as have elusiveness and the ability to gain yards. And this is an extremely good thing for the Rams going into this season because of this last part right here. Either way, Akers has a lot riding on this season with free agency coming up in 2024, so he's doing everything in his power to put together his best year yet. So if you're a fantasy owner or if you're just a Rams fan, you have a lot to be excited about with Cam Akers. I know that he has been a very roller coaster ride for fantasy owners and for Rams fans alike because of all the drama from last year, the Achilles, and the fact that in his rookie year, he wasn't really being utilized until midway through the year. So yes, it is a risky play to be picking him up in fantasy and to be putting any of your faith in him if you're just a Rams fan. However, he's doing everything in his power to be able to be on that field, and let's hope that he can get that first full season and that he's playing for a lot, considering he has a contract year coming up. I would expect him to be putting in 100% effort and being on his best behavior. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think he's going to be on his best behavior? Do you think he's going to put up one of his best years yet? I would love to know. Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll talk with you guys there. Other than that, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.